Pop in, say hi. If you've never come into one of my lives before, I am Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And this is one of two live shows that I do here each week. I have a Monday to Friday show, What's My Good Cheer? I also have my Sunday night live show, which is Chatters Live. And this is a comfortable space. This is a group of people who have come together, right? Like Santa's Island of Misfit Toys. And we are a bunch of misfits, but we're a bunch of misfits who love on each other, and that's the truth. And lift each other up. Each one of us have different experiences. We have different lives, totally different personalities, different goals, different dreams, different situations that we live in, different difficulties. And yet we have found this space, this night, each week, just to hang out and be friends, right? I am just as much part of this group as anybody. I include myself as a chatter. If you want to join in, if you want to join in on the conversation, if you want to come in and meet my crew, grateful that I have a crew, and I think I have the best crew ever. Hello, Owen. Hello, Andrew. We got show and tell tonight. I had enough time. I made myself a cup of coffee here. I am bagged. We had a pretty busy day. Not only did we have a busy day, it was pretty rough going. We had a couple of people who weren't able to come in, or one came in for the shift, but both of them weren't able to stay 100%. So we worked a little bit short staffed, but we shined anyway, right? Sometimes you just got to find a way to make do, to adapt and conquer in the situations that you find yourself in. And, if you work at it, right? If you just don't give up, in the end, things always things always work out. Okay, you guys, I just got home, so I'm just going to have a sip of my coffee here. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Nice fresh cup of coffee, super hot. It needs a couple of minutes to cool down. How was everybody's week, you guys? I hope you had an amazing week. I've heard there's quite a lot of things going on in the world in the moment that is unique and interesting. And I was really amazed actually that I actually got to have a conversation, just a casual conversation with somebody, right, that I work with. And he really come up to me and he goes, Cindy, did you hear about the meteor, right, coming across Earth's path? And I said, oh, I didn't hear about the meteor, but I heard about the solar storm that is causing havoc for the past couple of days. I think we have one more day to get through, and then things will settle down then. But I also heard a few things, right? Even in my own community, right? We had an evacuation of one of our small towns here in this province. I woke up this morning. Oh my goodness, I could barely breathe. The whole air system was just thick with fire smoke, and I could tell it was fire smoke because I could smell the plastic and the chemicals and the wires, right? But also at the same time, it made me curious because it seemed like an awful lot of smoke going on. So did a little bit of Googling and come to recognize that we do have some wilderness fires going on. So hopefully everything is calming down everywhere. So like I said, just with the solar storm, I do believe it is starting to calm down a little bit, and I hope everything and everybody and everything just calms right down, and everything not necessarily goes back to normal. How about if everything goes back to something amazing that it it goes back to being something wonderful and new and full of, right, exciting things for us all. Okay, let's see. Andrew says it's been quite around here as we've been between the end of the spring semester and the beginning of the summer sessions. Sadly, there has been an anti Israel demonstration. Oh my goodness, really? Anti anti Israel. Oh my goodness. And what is the problem, Andrew, that they are going anti Israel? What do they have a problem with? Why are they petitioning? The university president was booed at the graduation ceremony. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. This world is something, isn't it? Right? I hope it wasn't something that was had prejudiceness in its nature. I really hope not. It really truly does take all kinds to make the world. And even as North Americans, I'm not going to say Americans because I'm not American myself. I'm Canadian, right? But as North Americans, we know what it's like to live in a community that is diverse, that we come in and for our own selves we can create a life, and whether that life is good or it sucks, right, that it gets to be determined by us and not determined by prejudices of other people. At one time, Owen, when things looked like they were going to get out of hand, a sniper was positioned atop the Indiana Memorial Union building. Are you kidding me? People are protesting that the university has investments in Israeli companies, and because of the current Israel Palestine conflict, I get it, right? They don't want taking sides. It does take all kinds to make the world. What if the Israelis were, in refugee camps, and they're holding out their hands asking for food, or somebody just asking to have their hands held out of compassion? It just doesn't make any sense that we say no because you're Israeli, somebody in need and in somebody in crisis, right? You're not supposed to look at nationalities. You're not supposed to look at those things, right? Lots of times, even in the Second World War, there were Germans who were having to follow along, and lots of you guys know these stories. They had to follow along, otherwise their families would have been persecuted. And because there was not one single group in that country that were, right, unless they were underground, that would support people that way, right? You kind of had to go with majority in that, right? So they really didn't have a choice in like what they, well, you have a choice about what you felt, but what you do is another story, because probably you would have to stick with the official, what is it, the official understanding of what's going on, or who's to fault or who's to blame, right? I'd much rather just keep my nose out of that stuff, because it's not something I think this world is actually going to have to deal with in 50 years or 100 years, that eventually, as human beings, we'll figure it out and we'll find better ways to resolve our issues, right? But in the moment, and everybody has the right to have an opinion and a say without somebody, right, going for the jugular, or having shoved their own ideas down somebody else's throat. That, right, it's going to take time, right? It really is going to take time. And we don't want to stir that pot. So in the moment, right, majority rules. I personally, I run with majority, right? I have to run with majority, understanding that the minority will always hold the majority accountable. And that which is majority now, right, may or may not be the majority down the road, depending how we feel about things, depending on how brave and courageous we are, right? Depending on those government officials and those great thought leaders, right? And those great leaders out there who will possibly at one point come to the table and maybe resolve some of these walls and some of these hindrances in opinions. Quite often, it's usually quite often in the opinions, right? Yeah. Personally, I'd like to see the world run on values. I think, you know, if you ran a world on values, you could run the laws, a global laws. You could run and attach global laws around that, right? If we could all, right, agree on mutual values that we all, every single one of us in this world, to adhere to. In this moment, I don't think we live in that day and age, right? But that day and age could come around the corner next week or next month, next year, next 10 years, next lifetime, right? So in the moment, I stick my nose in other topics, but I think because of my understandings about it takes all kinds to make the world, and because I'm not that person, I have been served many, many, many kindnesses, even today, many kind remarks, many wonderful, interesting conversations that I might not have been able to have if, somebody didn't appreciate my thoughts, or if I looked at somebody as inferior, or somebody looked at me as inferior or not worthy, right? I don't know. Okay, let's come in here. My family, Andrew says, my family is German. Hello, Kathy. My family is German on both sides. I don't want to know why my relatives over there did during the 1930s and the 1940s. You know, it's just like alcoholism. This is a good example, right? We should be able to have as many chances as we need. Very rarely, when somebody stops drinking, do they succeed in staying, right? Not drinking alcohol without failing a few times. Maybe, right? Spend their whole life trying to quit drinking. My grandfather would always take breaks. My grandfather was a big drinker. He was one of those really bad drinkers, the ones who get so drunk that they end up living on the streets or sleeping in bus shacks and stuff. That was my grandfather, in all honesty. But my grandfather had lots of periods in his life where he actually did take a shot at being sober, and he would stay. So I remember my grandfather staying sober for well over a year many times. And my grandfather was a very nice man. He was a very nice man when he was sober. When he was drunk, he was a terror. He was somebody who caused my father lots of stress and lots of heartbreak. He caused me to become even more introverted and self-conscious because my father, when my grandfather got ill, he couldn't go live with my dad because he was so mean to my dad that it would have turned out very badly for him. So, my grandfather come to live with me, and that was not fun either, because again, because of my grandfather's problems, he would spend the rent money, and we were caretakers at the time, and people would come and pay us their rent, and he would spend it all, and then he would try and cover it all up at the end of the month when his with his pensions and stuff. Oh my goodness. It was an amazing company that we worked for, and I covered my grandfather's butt so many times. I covered my grandfather's butt with my own money, right? My own money, my paychecks and stuff, because that was my part of my job, or one of my jobs was caretaking apartment buildings. But I was also working, also putting a roof over my head. And by then, my grandfather was pensioned off. But when my grandfather was drinking, he didn't care. He was not a nice man. He wasn't a nice man at all when he was drinking. He caused my family lots of emotional, financial, physical turmoil in his lifetime. I wish my grandfather well. Hopefully he is back and moving forward in a new and wonderful lifetime where he has beaten that addiction to alcohol. But again, it's like alcoholism. We should be able to have as many chances as we need to resolve some of these issues that we have. And right, prejudice, we are so much better. Aren't we so much better, you guys, when it comes to prejudice? I think we are. When I was a little kid, that N word was thrown around like popcorn when a black and white couple would walk down the sidewalk or hold hands in the grocery stores or in the malls. Like all eyes would be on them, like they were a freak of nature. Very, very uncomfortable. And I can imagine their offspring, their children, being mulatto babies, the little bit of prejudice, that a little bit, probably quite a bit, because, hurt people hurt people. And people, when they don't feel good about someone, or sorry, when they don't feel good about themselves, they like to tear people down. They like to bring people down to their levels. It makes them feel better, right? Especially, if they were brought up to think that they were better. And I think that's a big problem, right? I work in a little thrift store, and I can tell you, I serve vulnerable, I serve middle class, I even serve people who do very, very well in their life, but, right? They do well in their life because they know how to save money in certain aspects of their life, and whether or not it's buying their clothes or buying their household goods, right? Maybe it's just them, instead of going to a movie or going to the bars, that they say, oh, let's go have a visit and let's go for a walk. And they're doing other things. And as they're doing other things, they come across our store. Oh, let's go take a look. And then I have an opportunity to build a new regular customer. We have lots and lots of regular customer, and I have spent a great deal of time personally. I can. Sorry, I just got a big. I have spent, since I've worked there, uh, a good part of my time building the clientele in that store. We have a very, very amazing reputation, and an amazing community. And not only do they come in and I know their names and they know my names, they're getting to know each other's names. And you could see them walking up and down the aisle, and they're all talking to each other, and hi Betty, hey John, how's it going? Right? And it is an amazing community. So I believe and I trust things are going to get better. Things are always changing. We can look at the bad things that are going on in the world, and we can look at the bad things that happened in the past, and appreciate that things change, that things do get better. Okay. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. I don't know how many mothers there are out there, but I do believe that if you are a caregiver, that no matter what that holiday is in appreciation for any family member, you should include yourself in it, whether it's Mother's Day, right? Father's Day, Thanksgiving, right? Those holidays that we appreciate those amazing people in our lives, right? Caregivers should be celebrated in every single one of those holidays. And if that's one thing I have here, I have a lot of caregivers. I finally got that card mailed off to you, Owen, your birthday card. I got your birthday card mailed off to you. Just shoot me a message on Instagram or something. Just let me know that you've got it. And yeah, I hope you had an amazing birthday. I know we wished you a happy birthday all last weekend, but I just wanted you to know that I finally did. I meant to send it off last week, and right, I was so proud of myself right after my live show. I got the card all ready and everything, and I just didn't make it out of the house. Oh my goodness, you guys, this weekend has been something. I don't know how you're supposed to feel at 62 years old, but if this is how you feel at 62 years old, I feel that way today. I put my slippers on as soon as I walked in the door, sat in my chair. I think I'm pretty much going to be planted here for 24 hours. We worked short staff today, and I'm not quite sure what's going to happen tomorrow. It is my day off. I do suspect that I will get a phone call asking me to come in. But I held the ship up, right? We all did hold the ship up. But, that was my responsibility on the weekend. And I gave everything I had, knowing that I had tomorrow to rest and to keep for myself. So I'm going to see if possibly, I'm just going to take my screen while I'm talking, because I'm looking at my screen on my air conditioner and I can see it needs to be cleaned. Yeah, I really do need my days off. So maybe Wednesday I can pick up an extra shift for them if they need me. But I really do believe I need a day. I really do need a day off tomorrow. So I'm going to take my day off. But you never know. We'll see how it goes. Last week I took an extra shift only because I had a good night's sleep. Maybe it'll happen again where I feel pretty good and I'll pick up another shift. I am going on holidays. Hello, Nancy. Nancy's about to pop in here, you guys. Let me just hit. Oh, I keep treating my laptop like it's a touch screen. Maybe I need a touch screen. This is a really good computer that I have, this new laptop. I need a new PC. When I'm at home in my lessons and online, I much more appreciate doing my work on a PC and my big monitor. My laptop does work excellent, but it's not my favorite way to work. It's not my right. I do prefer a PC. Oh, I gotta go backwards here. Oh my goodness, you guys are yapping fast. Where did I leave off? Okay. Andrew says, correction, don't want to know what my relatives did during the 30s and the 40s. Right? Maybe they were. Right? Right? They might have. Right? You guys, you made it to North America, Andrew. Maybe that's a good indicator of how your parents felt about being in Germany, right? Maybe that is a good indicator for you. It seems to me that, if you were having problems in where you're living, that you would try and find a new place to call home. And obviously they did, or you wouldn't be in Bloomington, Indiana. Let me have a sip of my coffee. And roll down into these comments before we start show and tell, you guys. I hope everybody's having a great week. I hope everybody is managing okay. A little bit of, I don't know, it's not confusing. It's just a lot of stuff going on. And I think that confusion is purposely thrown into the mix to keep us what do you call it? To keep us preoccupied, as things are getting sorted, right? In other aspects of this world. Because it really has been a kind of a crazy week for people. I've been listening and joining in on the conversations, and even for myself, right? I'm trying to make some movement, and right, I'm trying to adjust to these new movements in my life, and it takes a little bit, right? You get over the rough patch and things always get better and better. Oh, William's here too. Hello, William. Um, correction. Okay, I already got that, so we can come down, and everybody's just saying hello and happy Mother's Day, and again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. Andrew says, even here in Indiana, northern state, there has been terrible racism. As late as 1959, there were the white and the colored lounges in the IU, Indiana University, student union building, and it lasted longer elsewhere. Isn't that interesting? I know that in Canada, um, discrimination, we kind of followed suit a little bit with the United States, but I think it was in that, the United States feels this way about racism, and we're friends, we're neighbors with the state, so we're going to support them in the way they think. But it wasn't nearly as vocal or as bad as it was in the States. And again, it's just an indicator of how good we're doing now. Aren't we doing well, you guys? Right? Our buses are not segregated, our schools are not segregated. Even myself, in the 1970s, my best friend, Beverly Edwards, she was a great big black Amazon lady who would wait for me after school, and she would beat me up. I'd walk down the hallways, and every time I walked by her, she would give me a good slug up in the arm. Oh my goodness, I thought that woman truly hated me, and I was afraid of her. I'd always be peeking around the corners to see if she was around. One time, I was walking down the sidewalk, and I had a bunch of girls jump me at the same time, and they were all beating me up at the same time. Who came to my rescue? Who came to my rescue? Beverly Edwards. That big black, I call her big black Amazon lady because she wasn't very old. I think she was older than me by a couple of years, only because she was held back in school. But we were best friends for years. Even if after my father bought another house and moved us again, I used to hop buses and go visit her all the time. By the time she was 16 years old, I remember she had a couple of children, and I had a couple of friends like that. But I was never that person. My even my parents, that N word, it wasn't something that was common language or common feelings in our household. Even my father, his best friend, and I can't remember his name, I think his name was Robert. And my dad was not a hip guy, but a lot of things about him were kind of hip, and he made some friends in that community, and he was welcomed in that community. But that's the thing, right? It just takes one person to put the step in first, and we start moving. This world is getting better, you guys. You can look at the world now and just say it's never been so bad, never been so bad. But even today, I was standing at the till, and, I have this conversation with my customers. It's a good conversation to have when people start complaining about the world and stuff. I like to bring it to their attention to show them all the magnificence of the world that it is now, and these other ideas about racism, how light it is compared to the way it used to be. How people are really trying. They are trying in that respect that we give each other. I see the little kids all the time with their please and the thank yous, and the men holding up the doors for the little old ladies. But in innovation and moving forward, the world's getting so much better. I mean, I'd much rather have been born in the 1960s like I was, rather than, be born in the 1860s, because I don't think I would appreciate outhouses too much. I don't think I would appreciate going out to the well to get my water, right? Right? Or living in a city where there is no infrastructure at all, right? We talk about homeless right now, but there have always been people who have lived and survived on, right, the uncivilized manner of having a roof over our heads, right? And even though I got that close myself, I still think this world is amazing. And I couldn't imagine 200 years ago, with my eyesight, what would have I done? Obviously, if poverty is one of that poverty mindset is something that is a hindrance and a block in my life now, you can betcha, right, that poverty has been something that's been floating around in my bloodline for generations and generations. And now we understand each one of us has an opportunity in our choices to make a little bit of movement. And if you're willing to put in the work, there is work, you guys. There is work. Everybody says, oh, there's no work out there. Well, how hard are we trying to find those jobs? Yes, again, prejudice is there that might look at me and say, oh, she's too old for this job, or we're going to give her less hours, otherwise, she's not going to be able to keep up. There are those kind of people who take a look at the limitations and make their decision on their hires that way, right? When it comes to age. But I don't know. I think it's my own steam, and I think if I put my mind to it, I don't think it would be very hard to find another position. There are lots of jobs out there where you don't have to be going 100 miles an hour, or there's lots of jobs out there where that energy is very spurty. You know what I mean? Like, okay, for the next 2 hours, we're going 100 miles an hour, right? But then this afternoon, well, we're going to do a little bit of copyright. You can sit and relax, or we're going to have a meeting and you can sit and listen in, right? There isn't always that extent of, right, burning energy at that constant level all the time, not unless you work in a factory or a mine or a warehouse, something like that. But we find it's our love for that money, right? It's a love for that money and all that money can get us, right? It can get us. But I think what it can get us, best of all, is ahead if we really wanted to. Just wanted to recognize, I believe this world looks so much more amazing. And I'm somebody who really loves history, and I'm in those history documentaries, and I really take a lot of interest. And right, for myself, I know that this world, at least for my life, in my world, it's a much better place than it would have been if it was the 1860s. Like I said, I wouldn't have liked having to use the outhouse every single day, especially at minus 40 below zero. Okay, you guys, we got show and tell. I'm just going to quickly come into these contents before we finally get into the show and tell. A local business had portraits of Indiana University football players because of segregation. A black football player couldn't go inside the business to see his own portrait. Aw, right? But can they go into that business now and see his portrait? And that was just the point that I was making, that things do change, that things always are changing. That is so sad, Andrew. It was bad here too in Brooklyn in the 60s. Owen's saying. Owen's also saying, I'll let you know when I get my card, Cindy. Thank you, Owen. Andrew says, that athlete later lived near me. He bought the lot next to his house and made it into into a putting green for practicing his golf. His wife became a renowned judge in this area. Not just a judge, though, Andrew, right? A renowned judge. That's absolutely spectacular and a definite sign of the times, 100%. Okay, Nancy. Hello, Nancy. Hello, everybody. Okay, let's start our show and tell. I got 2 small bags here with not too much in it, and I have a Rubbermaid container. Keep in mind, I have booked my vacation off. I have September 16th to September 30th off, and maybe a couple of days after that until I have to go back to work. But then I'll be using that to finish recuperating, because I say all the time I need a vacation to recuperate from my vacation, and I'm optimistic that I'm going to need that recuperation when I get home. Okay, you guys, first thing, and it's the most interesting thing in the bag, I'm sure. No, not really. I've got this hanger here, and this hanger is going to be for my skirts, and that way I'll be able to save a little bit of room in my closet. So I'm going to put my work skirts on this hanger. This cost me $1.40 with my staff discount. It's just a hanger, you guys. So yeah, no need to get super excited about that, but I'm just going to bring this table over here for a minute. Pull that out. And I'll just use, I got a little table here, so. Okay, so I bought this container. It's for pods for your Keurig machine. You just fill it up with your coffee, but I'm not going to use it with that. I thought maybe I would use it for all my cords and stuff for my, oh, there you go. For all my electronics and stuff. I have a lot of cords lying all over the place. I would like them all in one spot. So periodically I can go through them, see what I need. This was with my staff discount. This was $2.60. So yeah, it was a little pricey, but I thought that I could get some good use out of this for all my electrical cords and all my USB cords for my computer and phone and speakers and what have you. I haven't moved yet, obviously, but I bought a beautiful, beautiful print for over my bed for when I move. It is, the main color is canary yellow. So I've been slowly picking up accessories and linens for the bedroom in canary yellow. Just so, right, I am only buying thrifted and secondhand, and also I accept like birthday gifts and stuff. So otherwise, I don't buy anything new besides my groceries. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't mean to stop here. Oh, well, let's show you the basket, right? Canary yellow. I thought that might be good on my end table where I could throw my phone in when I'm charging my phone, or my glasses when I go to sleep, right? I could throw it in there. It was only it was 28 cents. It was only 28 cents with my staff discount. It's quite lovely. I really like it, and it is in those colors for my bedroom. So I thought for 28 cents that would be perfect just to hold my phone. Let me have a sip of my coffee. And I forgot what I was going to say there. Okay. I keep these things on all my closets, but I needed one for my pajamas and my pajama tops. So this one's going over the hall closet here so that I can get everything nicely hooked on there, right? So it's just a coat rack. It was only $1 with my staff discount, and it's a good, strong, heavy one. I have one there up there already, but things keep falling off it because it's just not good enough. It's not big enough. It's not strong enough. So I needed a new one. It came in, so I got it. The last thing in this bag is a pair of summer socks. You guys know I like my socks, and I have lots of clothes. This is one of my favorite colors, is this mustard. And so, right, I wasn't going to say no to a pair of mustard socks. So they were with my staff discount. These were 50 cents with my staff discount. So, yeah, a pair of socks. Okay, one bag down. Okay, this little bag here. What do I got in here? I got a pair of pants. They're a pair of Calvin Kleins. They're in brand new, never worn condition. I don't know if they were too small for whoever bought them, but they have never been worn. I can tell that they're pretty much brand new. Yeah, they haven't even made it through one wash yet, but they are my size. And with my staff discount, there's 12. This was $3.20. $3.20 for my new work pants. I got a new summer hat. Right? For when I go digging, and right, this one's a reversible. It's got the dark green. Right? Kind of cute, depending on the outfit I wear. And it'll help to keep the sun out of my eyes when I'm digging for bottles or um or I'm digging for crystals, right? Just a cute little hat. I'm just gonna roll this down so I can stay up to the chatter as you guys go off. What else do I got in here? Oh, you guys, this is neat. Look at this. This was $1. Look at all those. It was just $1, you guys. It's a big bag full of military buttons. Right? There's the Navy. I don't know what other kind of buttons. There's a shield button there. There's an eagle button there. And some British buttons. I don't know what that one is. There's lots of different military buttons in there. I thought they were quite lovely, and for $1, I said those can come home with me. There's got to be 100 buttons in there for sure. Oh yeah, yeah, and there were a lot of bags too. She had a lot of bags of buttons. I think she had at least 10 bags this size of buttons. And she put $1 on every bag. They didn't even last an hour. After an hour, they were all sold, right? They were all sold. Okay. Oh, I have to say also, you guys, that my big purchase, I made a $25 purchase at work on my staff charges this payday, and it was a beautiful cream colored chair that accompanies my new high back chair, my high boy chair that I got this winter, and it's still covered up with a bed sheet. I don't want it to get dirty. And this little chair, it's just a little chair for now. It will work well with my new kitchen dinette, but it will be for the living room. I think I did purchase it for the living room with my staff discount. It cost me $18, but it was something that I wanted, and it was something that I needed. So right? I had the money, so I said, okay, just go ahead and do it. Okay, then I got myself a pair of shorts. They're the shorts that come to your knees, right? Just a pair of shorts. And that was all that I got for clothes, you guys. I've got lots of clothes. I donated oh, I'm donating to two stores. I'm donating to, because me and my sister, we go out on Monday and do the Salvation Army. So I've been donating to Salvation Army, but also I've been donating every day I go to work. I try to take a big bag of donations with me. I got two more. The weekend hasn't even started yet, and I've got two more bags of donations sitting at the front door to go to work, right? So I do take, I buy things, and then, right, if I find I'm not wearing them, or, right, I'm not fitting them, or my, my choice in clothes has changed a little bit, and it has changed a little bit. I still like the bohemian blouses, right? They're comfy, kind of a, you said, what's bohemian? It's kind of a hippie style, it's the peasant blouses and stuff. That's kind of where I like, because it's comfortable, right? Okay, you guys, we got two bags done. We're moving through it pretty fast, aren't we? Um, I got one more hat. This hat is not for my bottle digging here in Canada, and it's not for, when I go to Ontario or anything. This hat is for when I go to Arizona and the Grand Canyon in March. This is my big brim hat. Wow, what a nice hat that is. I just love this hat. I think it's amazing. I might even wear it this summer. It's too amazing. I think I might even. Yeah, so I got this hat. This hat cost me, with my staff discount, this cost me three, six, $1.40. Again, it's in brand new condition, and yeah, I really like it. It's going to be a nice hat this summer. Okay, you guys. Well, let's start off with the two books. Oh, I got three books. Grab that one too. Then, Kathy, I got you a new book. Oh, bring it over here. I got you a new coloring book. You're not getting it until next Christmas, or this Christmas coming up, but these are all the pictures that are in them. And they're pretty amazing. I looked through the book, and the pictures are just really, really pretty, but really big. They're like 11 inches by 16 by 16 inches, and wow, look, big owl there. So hopefully you like this book when it gets to you. It's even got a camel. It's even got a camel. Yeah. Kathy likes to do the adult colorings. I used to send her the mandalas. She doesn't like the mandalas. We had lots of mandalas on the shelf. But the coloring books, I don't know. I've been keeping my eyes open for them, but that was the first good one. The illustrator is, just in case you wanted to Google this person, is PJC Smart. So yeah, so that's yours, Kathy. But again, that's going in the Christmas box. So we're just gonna, whoopsie, that'll go over there. Then, oh, good one. I got a paperback. It's called "You Were Born Rich" by Bob Proctor. He is a thought leader in mindset. And yeah, so I haven't seen, I think I've only seen a couple of his books show up on the shelves at my work. But they do show up on occasion. I'm just going to stand up here for a second because I got a cramp in my legs. I'm trying to drink lots of fluid, you guys. I know coffee isn't really considered a fluid, but it's because that extra energy that I burnt off this weekend, right? I know I worked a little bit harder, I think, than I should have, right? Than I should have. But it is what it is, right? The weekend's over, and now we're into my weekend. So You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. We're just gonna come over here. Um Andrew says, I've been laying low today. I've been so tired. I slept a lot and have been going through papers for shredding, discarding, and filing. Yeah, I've been getting lots of projects done too. Lots of it is things around the house. A lot of it is cleaning and organizing. And, like Andrew, I'm not a minimalist, like you could tell. I am eclectic, but truly moving things along that I don't really love more than anything, right? I have lots of nice things, but there are lots of nice things that I can part with reasonably and not feel bad about it, right? Okay. I got 2 storage containers. They were $1 each. They're for the fridge, the refrigerator. They're really good ones too. They were $1.50, but with my staff discount, they were only a dollar each. And yeah, and they got vents on them, and yeah, really good quality. And they are the orange and the blue for my kitchen. So I thought it would be a good choice to pick these up. Right? Knowing that I would use them and that they would go well in my kitchen, right? Not realizing, because, my mother could come home and say, oh dear, I got a new fur coat. I saved $10,000. It was only $500, right? But my dad would have looked at her and said, you know what? The whole family could have lived on that $500 in groceries, right? Who cares that you saved 9,500? That $500 would have put milk on the kids' cereal for the whole year, right? So I keep that in mind, right? I can't just say, oh, it was only $1, so I grabbed it. Well, dollars do add up. So I want to make sure that anything I purchase, whether it's expensive or cheap, that it does serve me, and it's something that I truly do want, or it's something I need, or it's something that I can find use with. Okay, looks like let's do the jewelry first. I took this week 53 pairs of earrings back to work. I took 53 pairs of earrings to work. I redonated them. Most of them, because that was the first batch I took back to work. Most of them I hadn't even worn them yet. And I just went through all the earrings, and I just grabbed the ones that I knew I was going to never wear again. Yeah, so I just took the ones that I thought I would never wear again, right? So I sent them all back to work. I put them on a board and I sent them all back to work. Doesn't mean I'm not going to buy them anymore, but I'll just redonate them. What I'm not going to return are my brooches. When the brooches come in, if all the stones are there, if it's not missing any stones, then I will pick up the brooch. And that's a nice Christmas one. It looks like it's a snowflake, right? So I picked that one up. It was $1 with my staff discount. I got this little brooch. It has something on it. I think it's a Shriner's brooch there. So I grabbed that one. All the stones were in it, right? So I grabbed that one, and I'll pin it up with my brooches. And I really do love the indigenous jewelry. These come in all the time. And you guys know that orange is my favorite color. Well, mustard's my favorite color. But I like all those colors, the browns, the butterscotches, the yellows, even though I don't wear the yellow because I don't look good in the yellow. It makes me washed out. But the oranges, look at these beaded earrings that somebody had made, right? Just little indigenous beaded earrings, and I think they're so pretty. So I'm looking forward to wearing those. What else do I got in here? Looks like I have some kind of light catcher here. Look at that, you guys. Oh, because I guess it goes like this. There you go. It's just a little stained glass, that somebody, it looks like somebody made. It doesn't look store bought. It looks like somebody made it, but I loved it. I thought it was pretty, and it was orange, so it would look nice sitting in a window catching the light, right? So I grabbed that, and then one more pair of earrings, because I don't have anything in red. I don't have too much red when it comes to earrings, so I grabbed those ones too. Okay, I think that's all the jewelry there. This was 50 cents. But it was a nice toque. It's not for this year. I'm putting it away. Isn't that a nice toque, you guys? Yeah, I like that. Covers my ears good, and if I need extra, I can pull it. I can pull it down. It fits well. Yeah, I like it. So it only cost me 50 cents for my new toque. So I'm gonna throw that in my laundry, wash it, and put it away for next year. So I got a new toque. Oh, awesome, Andrew. Andrew says he hears me, that he's grateful for plumbing and electricity and motorized vehicles. Oh yeah, I forgot the vehicles. Oh my goodness. And that opportunity to travel and visit other countries and stuff, right? Um, I am somebody who loves to stay on the ground, right? But I'm not afraid of planes. Um, but I would prefer, right, to drive somewheres and have that experience rather than to quickly fly over the mountains and just get a different perspective of the mountains and not be able to see its majesty, right? At looking at them at my level rather than looking at them like I'm looking down into the mountains. I'm not sure if I would like that too much. Mind you, I've been over the mountains a few times. Okay. A new pair of socks for work. Just a little pair of bobby socks. Oh, I got one more piece of clothing here, you guys. Oh, looks like I got a new peasant blouse. Just a little top that I can wear with a tank top. So it's a work shirt. These kind of tops I usually buy for work. So that's a good one. So I'll take that and I'll throw that in the laundry. Oh, it looks like I got a pillowcase. I don't remember buying this. It says, "Don't tell anyone, but I am secretly a unicorn." I guess that was me. Right? So I got a pillowcase, and it's probably going to be the cat pillowcase because I usually put a pillowcase just underneath her pillow there, right? So that way, when I change the bedding, I only have to throw her pillowcase in the washer, and her spot in the bed is pretty comfortable. Yeah. My poor cat. I bought her a bed. She's having a hard time getting up into the bed now, so I wanted to make sure that she had a nice comfortable bed for uh, for herself, and she's been using it really well too. I got a lug bag. I don't know if you guys have lug in the states. I'm assuming so. It's a pretty high end brand here in Canada, and yeah, a purse came in. My boss gave it to me for $2.50. That was nice. That was nice of her because lug bags are quite often very pricey, right? And I like the shoulder bags, and I like small bags because the things I use, right? I'm not carrying makeup and hairbrushes and right, lots of stuff. I'm carrying my wallet, and I'm carrying my phone. That's pretty much all I keep in my bag. So I just need a little shoulder bag. So for $2.50, I got another shoulder bag. And you guys know I got a couple of shoulder bags about a month ago. And those two shoulder bags can go right back to donations because, well, they don't work for me. They're not comfortable, right? This seems like it might work for me. Before I give those ones away, I'll make sure that I try this out, make sure that I like it because in any case, this one may go back too, right? Like I said, I'm not overly attached to the things I pick up. I have to say that I did my staff charge this payday was, I think, $80. One of the girls I'm working with is going through a little bit of a rough time, a rough patch there. So I've been kind of picking up her staff charges. She's not buying lots because she's trying to, right, get on top of her bills. Um, and she's struggling a little bit, but we all have those moments when we struggle, right? And so, just so that she could have a few things that she could feel good about life, right? So I've been picking up a few things for her along the way, but my staff charge I think was about $90. Okay. I have a nice little cooler for my trip, but I thought this might be good just for, maybe cheese and my drinks, or right, just a little cooler, something that I don't have to leave in the back of the car. That's something that maybe I can have up the front seat so that when I'm on those long drives, right? Those long stretchers, I'm actually thinking of maybe trying to get all the way to old Montreal in 2 days. That means a lot of driving, long driving. And I'm not somebody who enjoys driving at night, not because I'm afraid. I'm a good driver at nighttime. I'm a good driver at night, but it's because I love landscapes. And if I'm never going to see that landscape again, it's why I'm on the road. It's why I like driving, right? Is because of the landscapes, right? Okay. The buttons are very neat. Yeah, I love the buttons, Kathy. I love military buttons. I'd like to go bottle digging and find military buttons. When I go and do the mudlarking along the river, I quite often find the porcelain buttons and the bone buttons and the milk glass buttons. But I sure would like to find some military buttons. But I don't know. Canada, you wouldn't really find that kind of stuff. Maybe around Montreal or Ottawa, you would, because there was the French and the English War um, between Canada and the United States, and that was they call it the 1812. Was it the 1812 War? Yeah, they call it the 1812 War. And the Americans said they won that war, but the Canadians said they won that war. And it makes sense because of the story of Laura Secord. Laura Secord chocolates are very famous here in Canada. But Laura Secord was somebody from the state who was listening at camp to the Americans talk about the big raid and how they were going to jump this what do you call that, this troop, is that what you call them, troops? My husband was in the military too. The battalion, they were going to jump the battalion and wipe that out and take Canada over. And she trekked non-stop through bush and wilderness to get to the fort in Canada so that she could give the heads up that they were going to be attacked. And she actually was able to make it so that, right, the Americans didn't get Canada. Because in that incident, if the Americans had succeeded, right, in taking over that fort, in conquering in that battalion, taking over that battalion, right? we might have been part of the United States. We quite easily, right? It was just pure determination that it didn't happen, right? Okay. This is also for my trip, you guys. This, I don't have batteries in it right now, but it's actually a lantern. It's got a little hook. You just run a string from it and you just hook it up. And then I was using Christmas tree lights last year. They worked pretty good, right? The Christmas tree lights worked pretty good. But I think something like this would give me more light. So I got this little lantern because I usually, if you don't know, I rent a SUV usually, and I set the SUV up like a camper when I go on these trips. And my next trip is in September, so follow along with us if you like. And yeah, you'll find it interesting. I think it's interesting, and I definitely I share these vacations with my audience because they are what cheers me on. They are the ones that make me push and right make it so that I don't forget that I have dreams and goals and ambition, and to make it possible that I can take these trips. I got a really old coffee cup from the 1960s. I thought it was adorable only because of the orange flowers, that I thought that might be a good coffee cup for me to have. It was 50 cents with my staff discount, originally 75 cents. I got it for 50 cents. I think it's so pretty. I really love this cup. And yes, I have been redonating my coffee mugs too. This weekend, I will be doing even more donation bags. But okay, what else can we got here? I got my camping cutlery. I didn't really need this, and actually, I think this is probably pretty frivolous because I usually come across at work. They come the IKEA picnic set cutlery, and I usually get a bag of that. And I think one came in already, and it's already in my camping gear. But this is good if I should make some lunch and then take that picnic with me when I go for my walk on the trails, or if I'm going out into the trails to find myself a spot for digging crystals. I'm going to a place called Bancroft, Ontario. They are renowned for their, oh, so many different garnets and amethyst and smoky quartz, and oh, there's so many different crystals. I'm so excited about going. I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more of this, but I'm only buying pieces, and I say no to it every day. Beautiful pieces come into work, and I say no to it. Um, but I don't mind it if it's what I'm looking for. And I was looking for a small bud vase in the cream colors, right? See the cream colors on the bottom there and the green. So in my living room, I've got cream colors and green and wood are the main materials in my living room. So I'm decorating my living room in that decor. So this works for me. It was my staff discount. It was 50 cents. It was 75 cents and a little staff discount. I got that for 50 cents. I got this. I didn't know what it was. I saw it on the shelf. I'm not quite sure how it works. They showed me how it worked, but I kind of forgot. What this is for starting fires. It's actually a fancy lighter. In truth, it's a fancy lighter. So you don't. It's a prong lighter, so you don't have to get close to the flames. And yeah, and it's rechargeable. It's just a chargeable lighter. It was cheap, right? It was $2 with my staff discount. So I said that can go into the camping gear. I have no problem spending $2 if I think that I might get some use out of it. So it will go with my camping gear. And if I don't get any use out of it this summer, well, next summer it's just going to go back to work. Um, I just like to work with cards when I do have two decks of tarot that I do like, but I haven't used them in like almost a year. I've exclusively just gone to powerful words. But when the tarot cards do come across my path, and this one is the fairies, this cost me, with my staff discount, it cost me 3 6 60 cents. Cost me $1.40. When I have 10 decks together, I give them, well, I'll probably give them to my sister and she can do something with them. But yeah, just throw them with the collection that I have. Okay, let's see. I think we're almost done here, you guys. See if there's anything else in my cooler. Nope, my cooler is empty. This is beautiful. I don't know what picture I'm going to put it in, but look at this frame. Doesn't that look like bark wood? It's just beautiful. It just screams Cindy. And I'm going to choose an amazing picture and I'm going to stick probably the picture with me fishing. I think will be a good picture for this one, right? It is a Mother Nature 100%. So I'm going to put a picture in that. I'm not really big on photographs. I don't think I have any photographs in my house at all. My sisters keep giving me pictures of their kids and stuff. I don't even it's not my thing. I'm glad you love your kids, right? And I love your kids too, but they're not my kids and I don't, right? I don't even have pictures of myself on the wall. Why would I have pictures of your kids, eh? My sister Alice too, and her kids are really quite cute, but yeah, she keeps giving me pictures of her kids and and it's not one of her kids is going to go in this picture. It's going to be a picture of me or it's going to be one of my landscapes. Okay, the last thing I have to show you, the picture I got last year, you guys, but the edges of the picture were getting frayed, so I wanted to get the picture framed and I found the frame for it. We didn't quite frame it properly, but I could take it apart and reposition it properly because the picture I think is beautiful. It's my dining room picture, and my dining room is going to be orange, right? Look what I got here. This is the last item I have to show you. It's a print. It's a print. It's three frogs. It's absolutely beautiful. I just love this color, right? It's almost the color of Prairie Dodgers, the word Prairie Dodgers, right? So I took it to work and I reframed it. You can see I didn't do a very good job when I pull it over here one side. You can tell how low it's here and how high it is right there. So it's got to be opened up and fixed a little bit, but I don't mind doing that. I hopefully have 3 days off to get some things done. Let me have a sip of my coffee and come back into the comments. A family. Oh, where are we? I'm coming back. Oh, you guys are yappers. Um. Okay, so that was the last question. The last one. Hi, Andrew. Again, Andrew says, "Hi, Nancy. I'm looking forward to seeing your new videos of local places you visit." And posted a Mother's Day picture. That was a lovely picture you posted, Nancy, and wishing everybody a happy Mother's Day. I thought that was quite lovely. Kathy says, hello to all in the chat. I put one up today, Andrew. I also put up a second bonus one, too, of a neat find. William says, hi, Nancy. Nancy saying hi to everybody. Andrew says, I'm thankful that my ancestors on my father's side were Quaker abolitionists who worked to end slavery. Right? I appreciate, we were talking about this today. It's funny that you say that, Andrew, because we were talking about, the Amish communities and the Hutterite communities. I didn't include the Quakers because I don't think we have Quakers here in Canada. Maybe we do. I've never met any myself, but um, we do have the Hutterites and we do have the Mennonites here in Canada. We do have some Amish, right? And we were talking about how they raise their children, and how they teach their children how to cook and how to sew and how to work on farm equipment and how to work on cars and how they learn so much. And you know the adults in regular society, and again, I'm not labeling everybody because it takes all kinds to make the world, but we can see that lots of the time that the parents are so busy living their own lives, they're in so much survival mode that they're not teaching their children too much. My mother would once in a while let me come and hang out with her. If she was in a good mood, she'd let me come out and hang out with her when she was making bread and learn how to make bread. Um, my mother, uh, yeah, my mother was a hard worker, and for the most part, she just did what she had to do, and she did most of it on her own. On occasion, she would bark at the kids to do something, but for the most part, she just stayed busy doing her own thing, right? And maybe we could have learned to sew. I don't remember my mother sewing a lot. My mother did sew, but she didn't sew an awful lot. Um, and then Andrew says, I hear you, Cindy. I'm so grateful for plumbing and electricity and motorized vehicles. Um, Andrew says, I don't know much about collecting, but I'll bet somebody would go bonkers for those buttons. I wouldn't be surprised if some are valuable collectors, even if they're not beautiful. You know what? I have people who come into the store all the time looking for the buttons. Usually, if it's a Friday night and I come across the buttons, I'll just leave them up front because I know the Hutterite ladies. They like to come in on Saturdays. They usually will rent a bus, and those buses will hold 15 or 20 people in them, and they'll just go from one yard sale to the next and one secondhand store to the next on the weekend, right? And they are lovely ladies. Oh, about a few weeks ago, one of the ladies came in, and she's one of my regular customers. I don't see her very often because she goes there during the weekdays, but I came into work and she had baked me a carrot cake with cream cheese icing covered in coconut, right? I shared it with everybody, but oh boy, it was amazing. Yeah, those ladies know how to cook, for sure. Um, Nancy saying, send those to me and I'll craft with them. um, Uh, Kathy says, wow, it looks amazing for the buttons. Uh, William wants something to eat. Andrew, a family member once gave me a nautilus shell. What is that? Set in stained glass to hang in my window. My window that got no direct sunlight. Later, I gave it to someone else who liked it a lot. Oh, that was nice of you. Have you had supper yet, William, for a quick meal that has protein? I like to have a couple of eggs. I like scrambled eggs too. It's one of my favorite meals is sausages and eggs. I try to have sausages and eggs at least once a week. It wasn't on sale this week, but what was on sale? Oh, you guys, I couldn't believe it. The ground beef is $7 a pound. $7 a pound for a hamburger. And I jumped a bus last night and I went to a grocery store that had ground beef on sale for $3.49 a pound. And I bought two great big packages, family packs like this. I made a couple dozen at least of meatballs. I made hamburger patties. I made a meatloaf. I made six packages, right? I made the hamburger and I put them in freezer bags, and I froze 6 packages of ground beef, and then I left a little bit out so that I could make something yummy for dinner. So that's sitting in my fridge. But now I'm sitting here and I'm going, oh, right? I might get up and make myself another cup of coffee. But I think other than that, I think I'm planted in my chair until it's time to go to bed. I think tomorrow I'm going to stay home. I'll take a look at the Weather Channel to see what the best day out of my 3 days off are, that I might spend a little time outside. I always make sure that I have one day that's for chores and getting me ready for the next week, and I have one day that is set aside for myself to go off and connect with Mother Nature. Then I have another day that is just for me, but it's in making some movement. It's in taking in lessons. It's getting ahead of the game when it comes to my brand or my life, or in some of those important connections that I have, that get a little bit of nurturing in that way. um Let me see here. Oopsie. um yeah, sausages and eggs. I love sausages and eggs. um Andrew says, what an unusual ad. I wonder if White Star Coffee has some connection with the White Star line that had so many famous ocean liners. I have no idea, Andrew. I just thought it was a very pretty print. It was in the color scheme that I was looking for, and I thought it was unique. I thought it would look. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's been a weekend. I thought it would look really nice in a dining room. The print itself would probably only cost me like $1 or $1.50. But like I said, I was going to ruin the print, so I went and had it framed. I didn't do a very good job, but I'll make sure that, right, I take it apart and I'll do it a little bit better. Quakers are also known as friends, or maybe the community of friends. Funny that you say that too, Andrew. Here, the Hutterite communities here in Manitoba and in Canada, they took care of the families that were left behind when the men went off to war in the First World War and in the Second World War. They held the lines, they helped with groceries, they helped pick up the slack when it came to some of those responsibilities that the men did at home. They actually really took really good care of the Winnipeg community. They were not going to war. Canada made a deal with the colonies before they even came to Canada that they would not be asked and would not be required to fight in the war. It goes against their faith, right? And as a community, they were giving permission not to go to war. But that didn't mean that they were slacking in their responsibilities, because they truly, truly did give back during wartime, because they, like I said, they took care of the families that were left at home, right? Um, the carrot cake sounds delicious. Yeah, I never knew that carrot cake had coconut on the icing. It was absolutely amazing. I never thought that it was going to be so tasty, but it was a very wonderful way to make cheesecake. And if anybody likes cheesecake out there, if anybody makes cheesecake out there, try it with the cream cheese icing, right? Which is common for a carrot cake, but try it with the coconut, with the shredded coconut. It was so delicious for sure. Um, Buying in bulk is often a good way to get the most out of money, right? I spent $30 on ground beef last night, and I was at Safeway the day before. I got 6 great big mounds, right? Each package had 3 great big mounds of hamburger. And at Safeway yesterday, one package with one mound was exactly the same price as the big package. And I got two big packages, so I portioned it all out this morning before I went to work. And I got it all freezed up, like I said, except for the little bit I put off to the side for my dinner tonight or lunch tomorrow, right? Okay. Um, I think the Quakers have a history of pacifism. I think some may have been conscientious objectors who served as nurses and maybe other capacities. So, did legislation or the government give the same kind of consideration to the Quakers as the Canadians did for the Hutterites here in Canada, Andrew, do you think? Oh my goodness. I hope I don't get a cold. One of the girls that I work with called in sick because she said she had a cold and she worked with us all day yesterday. So I'm really, really optimistic. I'm hoping that I don't get sick. And if I do get sick, I want to be able to have that appreciation as to why she didn't come into work because I'm pretty tough. I'm pretty tough on the girls when they call in sick, right? It's usually the girls who call in. Well, that's not fair to say because the boys call in sick too, right? But I have never missed a day of work in my entire life. And sometimes I do have that expectation that, the people that I work with should hold themselves accountable also. Those are the kind of teammates that I want. Those are the people that I know that I can depend on, that I'm not going to take that hit all by myself, right? I didn't take it all by myself, but we all got hit, and I'm sure we're all pretty tired. We're all pretty tired right now. Yeah. Oh, that might be something. Maybe I'll look into that, Andrew. You look into so much for me. Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to write it right down here now, and then I'll be all proud of myself that the next time I talk to you, whether or not you come into one of my What's My Good Cheers, which is my other live show that I do Monday and Friday, or if I see you next Sunday, Andrew, that I will look into that and I'll let you know. You might not be able to wait. You might be able to. I'm just looking to say how you spell Quakers. I don't. Um, yeah, and I'll let you know next week what I found out about it. Oh my goodness. We almost made it on time today. It's 5 minutes after 9, you guys. 5 minutes after 9 tonight. And last week, I think we were closer to 10 o'clock, weren't we? Or after 9:30 at the very least, before we finished with the show and tell. So I'm glad I'm a little bit more on time today. I am bagged, right? I feel a little bit more energized in this moment because I've come into my life. My work week is now officially over. If I happen to pick up an extra shift in the next few days, right? It'll all depend on how I feel and what I have in goals and plans for the next few days. Like I said, I have to look at the weather channel. I want to make a little list of things that I need to get done. No matter what, I still have little household things that I need to get done in order to get into my work week feeling good. I am putting extra money on my house bills so that month that I'm taking off in September, that month I won't have to pay any house bills, that all that money will be able to go in for my holidays. And if it's not going in for my holidays, whatever I don't use, it's going to go into the fund to get me all sorted out for my March trip. I have two trips I get to look forward to right away. I'm not looking so far ahead. I'm not even thinking about Scotland. I won't even be looking at Scotland until I'm already in the process of all those plans and all that, right? Booking camping spots and everything for my Arizona, Arkansas, Utah, Montana, uh, Oregon, right? I'm writing down all these mines that I want to go. They have a lot of copper mines and stuff in the States. And those are where you'll find these other minerals and these other crystals in the tailings and stuff. Some of it was used, like garnets were used. Some crystals were used for making the bombs in the Second World War and in the First World War. I think they even made the atomic bomb that went off in Hiroshima. I think they made that with some of those crystals. I'm not sure which crystals they were, but they did make it trigger off through the manipulation of the crystals. So we'll see the adventure that I can put together. I've got a list. I haven't set the itinerary yet. I don't know the routes that I'm taking. I sure would love in my September trip to Ontario and Montreal, uh, Ontario and Quebec, right? That I'll be able to come home through the States because it's pretty close to the border. I'd like to see a little bit of the States and, right, make use of that passport that I set on that goal list this year. And knowing that I'm going in September or March anyway, next March anyway, I'm going on this trip, this rock hounding tour that I'm going to go on. But it would be nice if September that I could take a little bit of a tour too. Maybe I can at very least maybe get on Montana done. Montana has blueberry crystals and they have agate and they have amethyst and right. So maybe I can work it in. Okay, you guys, I'm going to say that's going to have to be it tonight. If you guys want to come in and hang out with me, I'll be going live sometime tomorrow, hopefully fairly early tomorrow afternoon, right? Just so that I can really, if tomorrow is going to be that flake out day, that I could totally flake out and not have that scheduling and that accountability high on the list in my mind that I'm just going to spend my whole day going, Cindy, don't forget, you got a live show to do. Come on, Cindy, you can hit that live button and then show up at like 11 o'clock at night, right? After procrastinating all day. So I'll probably show up early in the afternoon sometime tomorrow. I hope everybody has an amazing week. If I don't see you in one of my other live shows, I'm going to clean up my little bit of staff charge mess here, get my laundry basket ready, make myself another cup of coffee, take in some fluid so I don't wake up in the middle of the night with Charlie horses and pins and needles. Blame it on the solar storm or the meteor that crossed in our close to the sun. Is it? I don't know how far that meteor was away from Earth, but supposedly there was a meteor a couple of days ago, and yeah, the sky's a little bit clearer today. With the smoke has dissipated because it was very windy, so it just kind of blew it right out of the city. Right? Have a good sleepy tonight and start all over tomorrow. It'll look different, but I'll be back tomorrow. William, Kathy, Nancy, Owen, Andrew. Oh my goodness. Let's come up here because I don't want to miss anybody. And if I did miss anybody, I am sorry. I hope, William, you're having a great week. Hope you're having a great week. Everybody, see you next week. Thank you so much, Nancy, for all the hearts and the smiles and the flowers the other day. And actually, Nancy, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming in, and sharing on a couple of these powerful words. And Andrew too was in there and helping me out quite a bit. But there was a week there that I had a really powerful word. And what was that word, Nancy? And you helped out so much with it, right? Because it was a word that you live by. I'm trying to look for my book here. You can let me know next time you pop into my lives. We had appreciation. I'm trying to think right now, and all I can think about is going to make another coffee and calling it a night. Perseverance. Oh, yeah. Good word, right? And that was something that Nancy was a star in the lessons with, because Nancy never gives Nancy never gives up. She adapts, she conquers, right? She'll go through whatever she has to go through in order to be right on that top of the pile. Yeah, good one. Thank you so much, everybody, for popping into my live. And we'll see you next Sunday if we don't see you this week. Have a good night.